If it hurts, you ain't the brakes, no get you know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the games after this win in. Press you again, we're here for the first minute. Carry block, you never 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Unbelievable place. Great university. Knoxville's unbelievable city. Great people. The passion for football is even greater than I thought it would be. And man, Neyland Stadium, I said it, a couple of years ago, and I still think it's the best football experience for a college football fan or a player in the country.
Just look around. You got the mountains, you got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. The old field of dreams. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Go win them all, man. I say that. Our team goal in general just win the East. So we're focused on that. But we're taking it week by week, one opponent at a time, and just being the best each week, each Saturday, being the best team on the field.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Dauber.
It's your boy X.
And I'm Coach J.
Boys, Tennessee got the dub, right? Tennessee got the dub 45-14. You couldn't ask for a better start. Like, coming out, I'm like, yes, thank you, Jesus. We've got something positive to talk about this week. Going to be picture-perfect football. There will be no negativity here. And the internet cannot handle the highs and lows of a Tennessee football game. But again, you couldn't ask for a picture-perfect better start. Joe keeps it on the read option. We were talking multiple times throughout the week on the tailgate show. Joe needs to run the football more. He keeps it, goes 81 yards, house call. At one point, Tennessee's up, I think at halftime, 31-0. Joe started this game. I've got the numbers here. 14 of 19, 156 yards through the air, 89 yards rushing, 3 total touchdowns. And then the knee injury. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's an injury. He comes out with the knee brace. He wasn't the same after that. Finished the day 18 of 31, 209. 2 touchdowns through the air, still had the same stats on the ground. And we'll get into Joe as the show goes on and talk about momentum of a football game and also the confidence of Joe, how that impacted him. A lot to talk about after a UTSA game. But, Dauber, what are your thoughts coming out of this one? Tennessee gets the dub 45-14 in Neyland Stadium.
So, it's one of those games you take care of business. You kind of do what you're supposed to do. Listen. Jekyll and Hyde, or as our boy JP says heckle and jive. It was
saw that on Twitter and I was like, oh, here we go.
Tell of two halves. Combination of things. Big thing for me moving into next week is injuries. We stacked up some guys going out. Hopefully, it was just a lot of precautionary stuff. Just sit them for the rest of the game. But some pretty key figures that ended up taking off the rest of the game with Keaton. Beasley went out late in the game. I don't know if you guys caught that. I heard it on the radio that they were threw his name out there specifically. Offensive line still got some worries there. We'll hash it all out here in the next little bit, but got the W. Moving forward, it's going to be tough sledding, and there were some positives to take from it, but there's still some questions, man.
Yeah.
X, what are your thoughts on the game, and also too, like a lot of man. Do you feel any more confident coming out of this one? And then just give me your overall thoughts as well going into that.
I do feel, I put it like this, I feel a whole lot better than what I did, last week. This team came out very strong, man. And then, like I said, look, we all said that, hey, Joe needs to run the ball more. Joe Milton said, "Oh, my beer, I got you." I mean, ran it for 81 yards, man. That really boosted his confidence a lot, I feel like. Like Dauber said too, yeah, the O-line is still just a little questionable here and there. But overall, I mean, they managed to keep Joe up on his feet to where he can make some throws, make some plays. And then, of course, like I said, the running back group, man. Like I said, look, Dylan Sampson's like what you and me were tweeting on Twitter. Like I said, look, the cage cheetah has been unleashed. Dylan Sampson, man, he had one heck of a game. And then so was Jabari Small too, man. Jabari Small, I mean, he ran hard. He ran pretty good. Jalen Wright did as well. Of course, he had like that upper body injury, so they take him out for precaution issues. Defense, like I said, first strong half, but then, of course, it was a little questionable in the second half. Like, I feel like they were still missing tackles. I don't know if it's where they thought that they had this game in the bag and they were like kind of taking their foot off the gas pedal a little bit, but you still got to clean that up. You still got to wrap up, still got to play aggressive defense. But overall, hey, we got the dub. That's all that we ever cared about. But yeah, it's on to South Carolina and just getting better from there.
Get him, Coach.
Right? Yeah, I feel like I kind of have a lot to say, but just a quick overarching breakdown. I'll tag on X. Sampson's a dude. It looks like he took it personally and answered the bell, right? I thought the team came out, and for the first time we saw just really good rhythm, playing sideline to sideline, playing vertical. Just a great read by Joe on that 81-yard run. It was that play fake and read on the crashing end that sold that play. For the defense, I definitely think it was the tale of two halves, and we'll get into all that here in a little bit because, my note in the first half, my overarching note in the first half for the defensive line was Coach Gardner. Coach Gardner put it on him in the 5 days of practice because they came out firing, but they still showed signs in the second half of being soft at times, right? And we saw that Tim Banks defense play soft and start playing to catch again in the second half and reverting back, not just a little bit, just right back. I thought, it just kind of just reiterates what we were talking about before the game. This defense is better when they're playing downhill and fast. I know I'm going light speed here. I thought the young linebackers played really well. I thought Arian Carter and Herring in pass coverage, specifically both of them, made giant leaps forward in this game. And that's a huge, guys, because the run they've been, Herring was bad last week against the run, but looked better this week. But they both looked light years above what they were. I thought there were bright spots in this game, but still a lot of questions that need answering move forward. Omari Thomas is an absolute stud, guys. That play he made on that bubble screen where he beat the guard and the center to fly out and make the tackle on the slot wide receiver was special. You don't see something like that every weekend, and I wanted to point that out. I could go on forever, so I'll shut up. I thought Caleb Webb was a really bright spot of this football game, and this young wide receiver core. You can really see there's some pieces there, but I still feel like they just haven't put all the pieces to the puzzle yet, guys. And I did think for the first time we saw a glimpse of Josh Heupel's football team, and I thought that had been missing in the previous games.
Yeah, there's so much to get into. You're talking about young players. I got a lot of young dudes that I want to talk about with you guys tonight. Got a bunch of super chats. Want to get your thoughts as well. I think used to it was like we're going to do an hour for the post game. I don't think that's happening anymore. I think it's like 2 hours every time because I want to get your thoughts and as well as the panels. Sammy P for $5. Appreciate the super chat. Says porch feed. This game showed me the O-line is worse than we thought originally. Man, maybe I need to rewatch it. I don't know that. I don't think they were worse than they were a week ago. I'll say that. But again, there's a lot going on throughout the course of a game. You got to go back, rewatch it. You look at how many, the run game today, right? Pulling up team stats here just to see. Tennessee ran the football for 303 yards. It's hard to say that this O-line is worse than you thought when they ran for 303 yards. Let me get Noah James here for 2. Appreciate the super chat. Says Dorfy, GBO, got that dub. Appreciate that, brother. We've got Trey Tyndale for $50. $50 is a lot of money. We got a gimmick around here. We do if you pay 50, you drop a 50 spot. We're gonna play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Appreciate that super chat. We got another clip too. You drop a hundo. We got another clip that we will drop for you guys. Trey for 50 says, fix what we can, get the guys hurt, healthy, move on to South Carolina with that dog mentality. All business. Go Vols. Boogie, you had a tough week. You're not lying. Proud to see you handle yourself like the commander-in-chief of the Talkin VAWLS cult we need. Look, I'm always going to call a spade, and I tell all 3 of these dudes to do the same. You disagree with me, stay true to your opinions, be who you are, be your personality, dial it up to 10. Let's have some fun. That's what it's all about. So appreciate that, man. That's a very kind compliment. Don't spend a lot of time on this, but it's a 50 spot, so I want to get everybody's opinion. Dauber, how much better does this team play when they've got that dog in them? I think they came out with a chip on their shoulder full of piss and vinegar, and they responded, and I like that.
I think they came out and played. Like Coach Jay said, they played as a Josh Heupel team. The speed was there, the rhythm was there. That's one thing we talked about at the beginning of the season, especially offensively. They've got to get in a rhythm. They've got to be going and clicking for that offense to be successful. And I think defensively, the first 2 games, we were saying, man, this defense, they're flying to the ball, gang tackling, swarming around the ball. And then we saw last week in Gainesville, that was
conservative,
lacking. They weren't anything that we'd seen the first 2 games. So, first half they looked good again, and then they had that bit in the second half where they just weren't tackling, weren't wrapping up. There are some things that are a bit concerning moving forward. And, I talked about it Wednesday. You're hitting that meat of the schedule now. You got South Carolina, A&M, Alabama, Kentucky. That's tough sledding. And there are things that if you do like you've played, particularly the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks going back to Austin P, you're not gonna win those games, especially if it's close games. No, man, that's all me. That's all me.
I'm about to hire Dauber to come decorate my room. His looks like a grown man. Mine looks like a 12-year-old. I don't know, man. I did all this myself. Do you believe that? I put all these arcade games up myself and slapped some helmets over here. I'm living the dream. Let me keep
I'm right there with you with these pops behind me. So
yeah, X looks like I decorated his room. He's got to turn the lights on. Where are the lights, X? I know you got them.
I know I got them, but just actually, yeah.
Turn them on, X. They're probably on purple. Okay.
There you go.
Green. They look green. Are they green?
Listen,
All right, let's move on.
White. Here.
Orange. I made this. I made the Power Tee. That's a bunch of pictures. There's some pictures of Boogie on that.
Ask him where my Talkin VAWLS wood carved sign is. I told him how great it looks. He's like, yeah,
you wish you had this.
All right, let me roll some super chats here. Sammy B for 5. The boys played like Tennessee today, giving me high blood pressure until they don't. That's life as a Tennessee fan. St. Louis becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that. You guys want to support this channel without dropping super chats? Membership's the way to go. Hit the join button down below. You can give $1. If everybody, there's 600 people watching. Everybody gives $1 a month. Guess what? We're living the dream. That's how we bring you more content. The more members we got, I'm almost thinking about putting out a goal. And if we hit it, whatever you guys want. That's why we do 2 morning streams, right? You guys got the memberships rolling. I was like, all right, we're going to do a morning stream. More memberships. All right, Coach Jay, you want to do a Friday morning stream? You want a Wednesday morning stream? We'll make it happen. The more memberships that roll in, the more content we will bring. Robert for 2, Joe can't get it done. There's going to be a lot of negativity towards Joe. We're going to get into that. Landon for 2, we need the first half, Milton, all the time. GBO, consistency is going to be a theme tonight. Stevie J for $20. That is not cheap. Appreciate that, brother. Will Smith hits harder than our defense. Lots of work to do. GBO, I thought they played good other than really 2 drives, right? 2 drives in that second half.
First 2 drives in the second half, yeah.
And it was like, it's almost like the offense, the wheels fell off the offense and the defense at the same time. I want to talk about momentum and what that means to football, and we will get into that in just a second. But shout out for the super chat. Appreciate that. VFL Willie for 2, the no call on Nico face mask. Nico got a rough break. He got a rough break tonight. He did not get a fair shake in this football game tonight. Papa J for 5. Appreciate that. Still a little concerned. First half was great. Then 10 of 11 missed passes for Joe. Was it bad? I was a tad bit happy when it looked like he was –
Oh,
that's
God.
terrible.
That's the end. They can't
Papa
think
J,
like that,
that's
brother.
terrible, bro. Don't say it. I'm not even reading it, John. I love you, brother, but no, that's terrible. Come on, Papa J. Give us a good 63 effort. Trevor Hall becomes a member. Shout out for that. Appreciate that, brother. J-Vol 89 for 2. Wonder how Taven would have done in this offense. You're never going to get that. You're never going to get that middle man. That's college football in 2023. That's the transfer portal. Crawdad Watson for 5. Nico should have went in a series earlier. I don't disagree with that. I almost said he should have gone in at the start of the third quarter. Said if you're going to put him in a position to make a play.
I think if the defense doesn't come out and sputter.
Oh, he's going way earlier.
Yeah, he comes in earlier.
All right. I got something to say about this actually. I thought Joe should have came out and played the second half, but I thought it was a real sign of weakness to come rushing out for that last series. Just for the offensive coordinators to go into a turtle shell at the end. I think it shows more leadership and strength out of a quarterback to know that you're playing well, you're hot, you just got injured, you need to go get looked at half. I'm going to let the young kid go in there from the 50-yard line, and we're going to play loose with it and go get in the end zone. And after he goes and gets in the end zone, I'm going to go into halftime, make sure Joe's okay. Joe's okay. He's got the nod. Joe, you're back in. Let's go get him. Show you're the true leader of this team. Don't run out there like you don't trust the crowd turning against you. I didn't like it.
So let's talk about the opposite side of that with Nico. I love the response from Nico. Joe runs out. Nico 100% shit.
He handled it right. Yeah.
Nico's looking at, this is my first opportunity to go play in Neyland Stadium, right? He got some play time in Nashville. That was not Neyland. And it's like, you got to imagine, like, his heart's beating. He's amped up. He's ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like,
yeah.
Okay, here comes this guy. And it's like, how would you respond, right? Are you like, man, screw this. Here we go again. I don't get a shot. Nico's nothing but encouraging. Let's audible. We still got a bunch of super chats. We are going to get your comments. Don't worry. We're going to go through them all. But this is a good break point to kind of talk about it because football is a game of momentum, right? And Tennessee, tempo was so crucial in this game. We saw what Josh Heupel's tempo is supposed to look like. Of course, you come out and you take one to the house right out of the gate. Everybody's amped and ready to go. But even from there forward, I feel like they were running fast. They were operating efficiently. Everything, like I was trying to, you guys know because I'm a dork, I'm a nerd. I drive chart everything, and I'm like,
playing downhill.
I know when they're going fast because I'm behind on my drive chart. I'm like, what happened? I'm back and forth. And it's like they were playing fast. When Joe got hurt, they slowed things down. When he comes running out of the tent, he's like, no, I'm going in. It's the 8th drive of the game. You got 1:46 to the half. And they weren't committed. It's like, we're going to run the clock out, right? You know, Coach talked about the reaction from the coaches. You got to run from Jalen Wright. It's like they're trying to let the clock run down. But then you get a face mask against Jabari Small. That moves the ball 15 yards. So now it's like, we're going to try to go score. Joe has to throw it away on first down. Joe has the deep ball to Chaz Nimrod that's just man, inches overthrown. You end up with a punt. And then UTSA kneels on it. You come out of the locker room at the half, and guess what? They have 2 drives. They go 15 plays, 75 yards. They also go 4 plays, 66 yards, 2 touchdown drives. How did Tennessee respond? A 3-and-out, and then in the second drive they pick up a first down. I think it was like maybe 6 plays for 10 yards, something like that. Dauber, how much can momentum swing a game? And I know halftime's in the middle of that, but when they chose to kind of reel it back, pump the brakes right before the halftime, I feel like that turned the momentum, and then you had to chase it in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing we've talked about with this team before. You know, going back to last year, that they didn't have a 4-minute offense. They couldn't slow it down because they would sputter out. And then, you know, when they went conservative to end the first half and tried to slow it down, they just couldn't get going. And you know, it doesn't fit with their identity and the rhythm that they seem to have to play with. And then, you know, I think I don't know that you can blame the offense for any of that. I think the defense killed the momentum with those 2 drives, you know, letting UTSA come down and score and get back in it. And that was really what kind of, you know, it flipped the script from from a really good first half on both sides of the ball, coming out and having them get back in the game. I think it was 31-14. You know, and here we're all sitting here we go again. You know, defense can't tackle, offense is, you know, 3-and-out, and then, you know, picking up 1 first down and a punt. It's those things that, like you said, momentum is a huge thing and a killer. It can either work for you or against you. And at that point, we came back on the third drive and answered. I think we rattled off 2 scores after their 2 scores, but man,
I think me personally, like I said, what really killed the momentum was Joe. Like I said, yeah, the way he went down. Because, in my honest opinion, like when I seen that he went down like that, really awkwardly,
It looks scary.
I had flashbacks of that Pitt game, like I said, like a few years back, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. Joe's hurt, trotting out Nico. And like I said, I'm not rooting for anybody to get hurt just so I can see the backup quarterback. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I want to see Nico too. We saw just a little glimpse of him here and there, and I know it wasn't much, and I know we're all disappointed. But still, I mean, I'm glad Joe's okay. He got back on his feet. And it also just showed just the kind of leadership he has in him. Because, yeah, I mean, he was pissed off. I mean, he got up and he was jogging, and he was trying to just say, like, no, like, I'm good. I want to be back in. But, yeah, I think that's what kind of killed the momentum just a slight bit. But then also, too, when he came back into the second half with that brace, with that knee brace, I wonder how much of that had an effect, like, on his throwing arm as well. Because, like I said, they said that I mean, you try, like, putting on a brace and going out there trying to throw a football. Like, it's awkward. So, I mean, I'm not trying to, like, make an excuse or anything, but it could have had a little effect of that as well. But just glad that he's doing all right. The question is how's he going to feel once South Carolina comes into town? But yeah, I just think that injury kind of slowed down the momentum a little bit. But overall, I mean, we kind of caught it back up in the second half.
Let me jam through some more super chats. Then I want to come back and continue. I want to keep talking about Joe, right? Like the conversation is so much about Nico. I get it. Number 1 player in the country. We all love Nico. We do. I want to talk about how Joe performed today. And I know it was Jekyll and Hyde. What is it? Heckle and Jive? Is that what JP calls it? I want to talk about Joe's performance tonight. Shout out Crawdad Watson for, man, sometimes people get mad. They're like, oh, wow, I guess I should have given more money. That was a $5 super chat, but that was a great talking point that we just kind of blended in. Look, I appreciate every single super chat. We just kind of roll with this thing. Chase Tidwell for 2, got that W, ready for next game. I'll be there. GBO. Next week's a big one, boys. Next week's a big one. You guys know the deal. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to think on it, and then I got to put a day after video together tomorrow. And I'm still not sure how I feel about South Carolina. We'll see how it plays out. UT Punkin, member for 2 years. Appreciate that, brother. Thornton was overhyped this offseason. Well, you're welcome. You guys blame me for a lot of things. You can blame me for that one. Because I thought with his size, his length, his speed, how is that not a mismatch nightmare in Josh Heupel's offense? He goes on to say, Coach didn't do Nico any favors by letting this 5-star just hand the ball off. We got walk-ons for that mess. You know, the first drive was such a mess. And again, Dante Thornton, let's bleed it all together, right? He hits Dante Thornton right in the hands, and he drops it. And then you kind of get behind the 8 ball. Nico never got a shot today. Never got a shot.
Nah.
And you can blame that on the defense. You can blame it on the wheels sputtering with the offense, whatever the case may be. You got to be thinking in that first half, it's like, all right, we're getting a whole lot of Nico today. It's just not happening. I feel like, I don't know. Ryder becomes a member of the channel. Shout out for that. Appreciate that support. Kelly Thompson for 5. Is it too early to declare Dante Thornton a disappointment? Man, y'all just keep blaming me because I thought he was going to be I'm talking about pushing Squirrel White in this offense. But really, when you look at the wide receivers across the board, is anybody really blowing you away? Like Brew McCoy, yes, he's physical. Is he blowing you away? Ramel Keaton's made some nice catches. I hope he's healthy because I think we're going to need him. Made a nice catch tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody? Any wide receiver blowing you away?
I mean, I thought they looked. I mean, the Thornton drop and the drops in general have been disappointing, but I mean,
like my
for the
daddy
most part,
said.
I thought they were running open.
Well,
That's why I pushed back all year. I'll still push back after this game is to anyone who wants to. I mean, beyond when they've just shelled up and gotten conservative, do you want to argue with the play calling? Sure, I'll get behind you, right? Because they've gotten into shells, and it's really obvious when they're, have gone vanilla and stopped it. But when they've let it loose, they've had wide receivers running open all over the field. That hasn't been the issue. The issue's either been protection, penalties, or, pre-snap and rhythm. But I don't know that beyond that one game where they dropped so many dang balls, if the receivers, I'm not saying anyone stepped off and been elite. I don't think that's happened either. But I think they've been fine and good enough too, I guess is what I'm saying.
That sounds like this whole season so far, though, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's
it's up
fine.
and down.
It's just okay.
Well,
Jalen Hyatt said, "Hey, y'all think I'm not good enough? Watch this. I'm gonna make you talk about me. You know what I mean? Like somebody go be that dude." And I feel like nobody's being that dude. Phillip.
Well, Tillman did the same thing the year before.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's
and then gets hurt last year, right? That's.
And we're all freaking out because we're like, oh, who's going to step up? And then Hyatt comes up.
Yep.
There's still time for somebody to
100%.
emerge.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, as negative as this week was, and rightfully so. Look, you play – Coach Jay opened the post game calling everybody on this side of the country a turd, and that was fine. So what do you think the whole week's going to feel like? Everybody was a turd. We're going to talk about him being a turd. We got some positives to talk about this week. So we'll get into some positives and still some concerns. Like that's the way I advertise this postgame show. There are still some concerns there. Phillip for 5 says Milton still can't hit the broadside of a barn with a Cadillac. I don't know, man. He either drops a dime in a bucket or he throws it 20 yards over your head.
If he can just get air underneath that ball, man, because I said we saw a few good thrown balls. He just got to just put just a little air underneath it. But
I think he's doing better with
why
the
can't
air.
we just accept the fact that he's either on fire or he's cold?
Inconsistent.
He's just hot and cold and inconsistent.
You said it at the top of the show, Boogie.
That's the theme. We're going to come back to it. I'm just trying to read super chats. Y'all don't want me to. Y'all are like, let me see if I can derail the super chats. Let's see. That was Philip. Appreciate that. Noah for $2 says 23 fumbling. That punt return hurt my soul. I got special teams circled to talk about as well. Dan Yoder for 5. Rattler is licking his chops. Bring it on. Oh, I almost said the B word. That's how much I hate those guys now. Seth Brooks been a member for 11 months. Appreciate that support, brother. Country Music Heaven for $2. Happy we finally gave Sampson a chance. I was kind of talking about that before. Everybody's loving some Dylan Sampson. I do too. I do love him too, but he was averaging the least amount of yards per carry. I feel like people don't like Jabari Small for history, not for what he's doing this year. Jabari Small is a good running back. Nathaniel Hughes for 2. Joe was nervous about Nico coming in like hooker. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think he was trying to lead the way he thinks you need to lead. I don't know that he knows how to be a leader. I think he thinks leading is, I'm hurt, my knee's blown out. Guess what? I'm going to go play anyway. Parker for 5 was on the wrong show. Dorothy Hops offense might be back. How dare you, sir? How dare you? How dare you, sir? Some of us are committed to dropping content every day. Some of us only do it when we feel like it. Let's ride with the ones that want to bring you content every single day. Shout out Parker for the super chat. Papa J for 5. Sorry, I don't want Joe hurt at all. Just give Nico more playing time. I don't disagree with that, Papa J, but I had to bust your chops on that one. Bro Regard for 5. All this quarterback drama sucks. Hope it doesn't screw up our having a 5-star recruit. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. Seth Brooks for $100. That ain't cheap. We'll play the new clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be. To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
Seth Brooks for $100. That ain't cheap. Appreciate that, brother. Glad for a win. Still mad about last week. I hate Florida. Run game is good. Joe's accuracy downfield doesn't seem to be where it should be. I'm worried for SEC play. What are y'all's thoughts for the rest of the season? Realistically, can we still win the SEC GBO? X, how has your opinion on this season changed after this UTSA game, coming out of the Florida game? What was your prediction going into the year? I don't even remember.
My realistic prediction was 9-3. I mean, that's just as realistic as it gets. Now, will that change later down the road? Of course, like I said,
now. Where you at now? Right this second. 7:57 p.m. Eastern time on September the 23rd. Where are you at? Are you still saying 9-3?
I'll say probably 7-3.
He's trying to do math. He just erased 2 games off the schedule. Are 2 games getting canceled for Lightning? X, let's dial it in. 7 wins means 5 losses, bro. You going 7-5? You feeling 7-5?
No, I'm not.
X can't do math. X can't do. X.
That was a Butch Jones record
Hold on,
right
X.
there. That's
Hold
what
on,
it
X.
was.
When I ask you a question and you're struggling, you're trying to figure out how to answer. Let me just say this.
And you have to not lose the game before you can ever win the game.
We did that tonight, sure.
Yeah. All right, let's recycle.
Yeah, we did that.
How you
we did not lose the game, and then we won the game.
How is your prediction moving forward? Are you still at 9-3, or are you at 6-12?
I'm 9-3. But listen, if we keep playing the way we do, it's possible to lose 5 games. It's very
No, you're
possible.
not lying. You're not lying.
You
are not lying,
It's
X.
very
You're not
possible.
lying.
If we keep playing the way we do, yes, it's very possible to go that record.
Joe Brown, you got to go 3-1 before you can go 14-1. Josh Heupel probably.
Amen. Yeah.
You got to go 3-1 before you can go 6-4. X Factor probably. X. Okay, Dauber, how you? Sweet
man.
noises.
I had the ceiling
Throw
for
me
this
off.
team at 10-2, and that was, where I hoped we'd be, where I'd like to see us. Floor it was 8-4. I figure we're probably somewhere in between. I think 9-3 is realistic. But could it go better than 9-3? Yeah. If they play the way they can, the way we've seen glimpses of both sides of the ball. I know you said earlier we're going to talk about special teams a little bit. I think special teams has to be cleaned up a lot. But could it drop worse than that? Yeah. I absolutely think they could go below the floor that I thought they could have at 8-4 and run a 7-5. I don't think you're scrambling to be bowl eligible or anything like that. I think this team is too good for that. But there are some questions, and talk about momentum in a game, momentum in a season, and with the games you've got coming up in a row right now, you lose 1 or 2, and you start getting that momentum. You start getting that the fan noise coming in. QB controversy, you have some chaos in the running back room. I think, we saw a little bit of that last week with, I think Sampson's Instagram or Twitter, being a little bit unhappy. But,
the chat's undefeated. Y'all are freaking animals, and I love you for it. Let's look at the schedule moving forward. Coach, where were you? What was your prediction? Were you 9-3 also?
I was definitely 9-3 also.
So 9-3, you're basically saying you beat everybody but Alabama and Georgia.
Let's just stay on our current quo here and just go. If the first half Tennessee team tonight, if the first half Tennessee team plays like that all year, then we'll go 10-2. But if we play like the second half team, we'll go 6-5.
Like I said, guys,
What is
look, I said,
happening? This show is completely
That's 11
ruined.
games.
Exactly.
Just
Are we not
Exactly.
counting one?
I'm playing.
He's sticking with the
No.
theme. X started all of
sticking
this.
with the theme.
bottom line is, look, listen, we got to come out and play better. If we don't, we're gonna have a pretty rough record.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now. It went
But
from
but
11
Whether we
and 2
play
last
12
year-
games or 10 games,
Yeah.
it's going to
Hey,
be rough.
It went from
Doesn't
11
matter.
and 2 last year to whatever's going to happen this year, and then we're all going to be like, oh, so
Can we
what
protest
happened?
last week?
Can we put two halves of football together also?
Yes.
That we have not done that this year. We've had glimpses, but we haven't put two halves of football together all year. I don't think we've done that all year, not even close. And I was going into the second half. I thought we were about to do it. I think we all did. And then you catch a bad break with Milton, and the momentum gets sucked out, and all the subsequent things we're going to talk about. But either way, good teams find a way to flip momentum back quickly. Right, the longer momentum is not sitting next to you and holding your hand and give you little smooches, the more of a problem you're going to have. You need to get that girl back as quickly as possible.
Prime example is LSU last season. I mean, look at their record. They made it all the way to the SEC championship. Of course, we knew Georgia was going to win it, but LSU's a good example of that, Coach.
Yep.
Look at last week against Florida, right? The second quarter. Tennessee lost 20-0 in the second quarter. They got whipped in the second quarter. Tonight against UTSA, it was the third quarter. It was 14-0 against an inferior opponent. You were favored by a touchdown against Florida. You were favored by 24 against UTSA, and you still got whipped 14-0. You got to put it together, but I would say that's an ongoing theme we've seen since Josh Heupel took over at Tennessee. He tends to have that one quarter where he struggles. Year one, it was always the third quarter. It seemed like that was going to be the theme and the narrative. But it just seems to be, bounce around, man. They can't put it together for 4 quarters. What is it, Dauber? Is it momentum? Is it making adjustments? What is it about this football team? Consistency with Joe Milton, right? Like, that's a huge part of it now, but it's not just Joe. I mean, this goes back to 2022, 2021.
Well, you took my answer right there. I was going to say it's consistency. They can't consistently come out from one drive to the next or from one series to the next on both sides of the ball and play at that level. You have a drop off. You have, had not turned around to look at the ball. You have a drop. You have a pre-snap penalty. You have one of these things that just kind of it stops an offensive drive in the tracks, or you give up that chunk play defensively, which leads to them kind of driving down the field, or tonight we saw 2 back-to-back drives where the defense just completely whiffing again on tackles, letting guys run right by them. That was brutal to see, and it shook me because I'm like, here we go again, because that's exactly what you saw last week in Gainesville. And if you play that way the next couple of weeks, you're not going to end up with that W. You're gonna end up going back to your apartment in Knoxville, licking your wounds, wondering how am I going to change this for next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me get a couple more super chats here. Parker for another 5. Anybody worried about Joe's knee? Obviously, those legs are important when they are working. Man, that was one of the talking points I was going to have tonight. Joe needs to run the football, right? Joe needs to run the football for this offense to be successful. And we saw that right out of the gate when he decides to pull one, keep one, he takes it to the house. And now, are they going to be scared to run him? Because what is going on with the knee? I don't know how bad it is. Like, I saw people saying, oh, it's a meniscus, it's this, it's that. Like, I think I had a torn meniscus for several months and kept training through it. And then when it finally went, and I couldn't walk. So it depends on the severity of a meniscus tear. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It sounded more like just a deep knee bruise to me, like something that they wanted to keep moving, because I know I want to play, devil's advocate and give them crap, but I also wasn't in the medical tent. I also don't know what was kind of diagnosed immediately when Joe was in that tent, and maybe it was the type of injury where it's like, oh crap, you don't want that thing to lock up. Get your butt back out there and move. I've said it. I believe in this coaching staff, and I will always defer to them. Although hey man, this is a fan show, right, Boogie? Like we represent the fans, and there's nothing wrong with just talking about it and airing it out and kind of going through it. But
let me throw this on top
yeah,
of that.
go.
Top of
Yeah,
that, Wade
yeah.
for 5 says Milton was fine until he got hurt. Do you think the brace threw him off just a little in fear of possibly getting hurt again? They looked a lot better. You know, I said that at the top of the show. I'm looking for the exact numbers, how he started the game before the injury. Like, let's break down, but let's pretend he never got hurt. Let's pretend everything before. 14 of 19, 156 through the air, 89 rushing, and 3 total touchdowns. That Joe Milton. We get that Joe Milton. Are we all sitting here going, okay, maybe Joe figured it out? The tempo was there, man. It was there tonight before the injury. It was there. All I could say was, this is what this offense is supposed to be like. But battered ball syndrome says Joe's always been inconsistent. Knee brace, knee injury, gold jacket, green jacket. Who cares? He has always been inconsistent. That's what scares me, X. The track record.
Yeah, well, and then even the announcer was saying, they said that the coaching staff got with Joe and they gave him in the playbook, and then he was also looking up he's kind of comparing himself to other quarterbacks in the league, and like I was saying it before he even came to Tennessee, was Cam Newton. I mean, he's literally built just like Cam Newton. Now, I'm not saying he's just like Cam Newton or better than Cam Newton or anything by means, but I'm just saying, but the way that he is built, he should kind of have and similarities like a Cam Newton kind of play style. So maybe the coaching staff is trying to mold him to kind of make his own play style, but kind of resemble it of Cam Newton's. But no, I mean, I agree with you, Boog. I mean, it's like I've been saying it the whole time too. Joe needs to run the ball more, man. Like I said, instead of just staying in the pocket the whole time, just get out there, run. Then even with this game, there was a few pulls that I was just like, yeah, Joe, you should have made that pull, bro. But like I said, hopefully he just gets better with that later on. But yeah, as far as his knee injury goes, I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna have to just wait and see when it comes to South Carolina.
Yeah, it's hard to. We don't really know what it was. You know, like you said, Coach Jay, it could have been something. You know, he went in at the half. They put him on the bike or whatever. Said, you know, try to stay loose, but it got you know, stiff. Plant legs, so it's probably a little bit uncomfortable. I think that there definitely was a difference in the second half. He just seemed a little off, a little uncomfortable. It could have been the brace. It could have been whatever it was that happened to the knee. But, you know, we want to see that first half Joe Milton. And like Boogie said, with a knee brace, without a knee brace, you know, in a smoky gray jersey, in the orange jersey, orange pants, which looked very good tonight, by the way.
You know, when they came out, I was lucky. My son was in town for 2 days, and I got to, watch. He got in like Thursday. We were away. I had a game, and we were split up, and then got back together today and watched the game. And we both looked at each other at the end of the first quarter. I think it was 21-0. It was like, man, when this Heupel offense is working like this, 21 points in a quarter almost seems slow. It almost looks like slow or not there. It's just so dang powerful and fast, and we all want that. And man, they looked good in it at times, whether it was the 81-yard run, the rhythm pass, the deep ball to Ramel Keaton. There's just so many plays, throwing it sideline to sideline earlier. Just they had the rhythm. They had their mojo back, man. They got their dang mojo back. And no matter what it was, when Joe got hurt, I mean, it changed. He was 1 for 10 at some point, like quickly after that in the second half. And so the question is, was it discomfort in the brace? Was it a physical thing, or was it a mental thing? And what worries me is that it seems like it's a mental thing, because maybe I'm greedy, but I want that quarterback who, when they are hurt, when they are banged up, they go out there and, man, they might be wincing, they might be limping, but they're cool, calm, and collected, and they're still making that pass on the dime, on the money. They're still fitting it in the small place. They're still fighting through pain and still moving the offense in that way, maybe
Roger
just a little
Clemens
bit
with the
slower.
bloody sock.
Byron Leftwich getting carried down the field by his offense line.
Me and Dob are going old school. Byron Leftwich and Roger Clemens.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah.
Heroes, man. That's what Stuff of Legends made
it's
of.
It's what you want, because the quarterback position, the leader, right? So you want that in a leader. You want that, and whatever it was, we had it, and then it went away. So, man, it was nice to breathe it in for a second, and the question of whether we can put those two halves together in full games moving forward will answer the question of how this team will do moving forward.
Consistency.
Yep, we need it.
I think this game coming up on Saturday is huge. We knew going into this game, no matter what Tennessee did, no matter how they played, when you look in the grand scheme of things, it was the third quarter, and it was 2 drives for UTSA, 2 drives for Tennessee. You erase those 2 drives, and we're saying we're ready to rock and roll, man. We're back. We're focused. We're dialed in. South Carolina's going to tell us a lot. Let me hit some more super chats here. You guys being very generous. Appreciate the support. We got almost 600 people watching live. You know, it's funny. People get so mad about negativity. It's like, oh, negativity, blah, blah, blah. If Tennessee lost tonight, there'd be 2,000 people in here.
Man.
But they win, and everybody's like, I got better things to do. I would much rather come hang out when Tennessee loses and yell at you guys and tell you how stupid you are and tell you how Tennessee sucks. But when they win, only the diehards, only the faithful are here in the chat hanging out talking Tennessee football. That's a true Tennessee fan. We all wanted Tennessee to win tonight. We all wanted Tennessee to win last week. And it's like the negative, and I know people were mad at me this week for being negative. And it's not necessarily being negative. It's calling a spade a spade. Some people thrive on negativity. That's why when you put out a video that says a huge problem for Josh Heupel, everybody clicks it. You put out a video saying Tennessee versus UTSA, nobody clicks it. It's the freaking world we live in, man. I cannot stand it. I would much rather be here like we are tonight celebrating a win. So shout out to you guys that are enjoying a win and getting ready for South Carolina. Seth Brooks for 5X. It's all good. Math is hard, dude. You're the man. Even if you can't count, you can count. I can't read. X can't count. We know that.
Yeah, I'm about to say today, Junior.
Every time I read a super chat, I read it wrong, but that's okay. You're the man. Even if you can count or not, we'll just count our wins. Hopefully, we still go 11. Thank you, Seth. There's a super chat. Parker for 2. Continuing the tempo is the key to gaining momentum. I agree 100%. That's why I got so excited early. The tempo was back. Landon for 5. Do y'all think we'll be looking for a DC at the end of the year? Because I sure do hope so. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say absolutely not. Tim Banks got an extension. He ain't going anywhere.
I think you're looking for defensive back coach, yeah.
Well, it's so weird. Why does he coach corners and Tim Banks coaches safeties? That's weird in itself. But Dylan Elam for 5. Appreciate the super chat. We took a step in the right direction tonight after Florida. Keep the tempo up. It's when we slow down, the drive stalls out, pedal to the floor against South Carolina. I agree with that. And also, do we get Cooper back next week? That'll be something to keep an eye on. Crawdad Watson for 2. Something wild will happen in the South Carolina game. Wouldn't surprise me at all. That's Tennessee football in a nutshell. A little spooky for 2. Please unleash Nico. Straight face. What's that? Looks like he ate like something sour. I don't know what that emoji means, but thank you, Little Spooky, for the $2. Evan counts for 10. Nothing to say, just a tip in the old tip jar. Shout out, Evan. We appreciate that support, brother. Thank you for the tip. All right, we're caught up on Super Chats. Let's talk about injuries. Actually, I want to talk about something fun. Injuries isn't fun. A lot of guys banged up. If you guys want to come back to it, we can. Jalen Wright went out. Of course, the Joe Milton deal. I hope Ramel Keaton's okay. Man, that looked like a shoulder to me. I don't know. Aaron Beasley, John Campbell, Dominic Bailey, tons of guys got hurt. But let's talk about some of the young guys that got into the game. Coach, and I want to ask you this right out of the gate, and we'll come back to it. I'll just say Turntine playing at safety, Gibson at corner, Jordan Thomas at safety. And a lot of these guys were in the first quarter. This isn't in mop-up duty. These guys were in the first quarter. Brandon Turnage at corner made a nice pass breakup, man.
Very nice pass
He also
breakup.
missed a tackle later. Shout out Brandon Turnage for the missed tackle. Linebackers, we saw a whole lot of Aaron Beasley with a young guy, whether that was Elijah Herring, Caleb Perry, Arian Carter. What do you think of Caleb Perry? You didn't mention Caleb Perry earlier when you were talking. I thought Caleb Perry looked good. I'm interested to see how many snaps he actually got and how he graded out. Talk about Caleb Perry and just the young players in general.
I thought I thought T-Lander struggled in coverage at times tonight. But I thought he was really good maintaining gap integrity, and I thought he followed his reads really well in the run game. Overall, Perry, I thought, graded out very high as well. Arian Carter finally started looking comfortable for the most part. There was one play on a counter backside that he looked like he was a little late to his secondary option. It looked like he was like reading front side A to B and got a little heavy on that front side, and then it went backside B. But beyond that, Arian looked really good tonight, and that's just the thing, right? These kids, they play a season and then they're not freshmen anymore. The fact that they're getting on the field right now is showing you the kind of talent that you're dealing with some of these young kids that we have, and they're learning and they're learning quickly, and that's a good thing because I think we all know that our defense needs help, certainly in the secondary, also in the linebacking core. So
shout out to the chat for correcting me on Kurt.
Oh, yeah.
Roger Clemens.
I just
bad.
take a little.
Hey,
on
all
it.
those old timers are the same. I could have said Nolan Ryan. You guys knew who I was talking about.
No, but I thought the young kids look really good. James Pierce again, looking like a
dominant.
The time he got to that quarterback, he put that tackle on his backside. It's becoming
It was Pierce
every week. Pierce. Yeah, James Pierce. James Pierce.
That Burrell got, wasn't it?
How about Caleb Herring with a sack fumble? How about that,
Yeah.
man? Why did I get so excited? Because he's an in-state kid, maybe? Like, that fires me up, seeing a young Caleb Herring go in there and make some plays.
It's just all those young kids are playing fast, and you see the talent that we've been recruiting. And hey, anyone who's been watching that breakdown series knows we've been doing some work in that recruiting class and recruiting classes to come. So I think the future will continue to be bright, and the more they play, the better they're going to get. So hang on.
Caleb Webb looked good there out there too.
Yeah, like I said, Caleb Webb looked great. Nimrod got a little bit of a tough ball there, but Caleb Webb looks like a dude. Lot to be excited about for the Tennessee Volunteers moving forward. But let's see if we can get our upperclassmen to focus. We're still tackling really soft in the back end. We need to fix it. Period. It's going to be a problem if we don't. It already is.
Dauber, you guys have any comments on the young guys, whether offensively or defensively?
Exciting. It's good to see them out there contributing in spots other than special teams and spots other than mop-up duty. We got some real dudes coming up, and frankly, if I'm an upperclassman, I'm it's pushing me to be better because I know I've got some RLDs coming up behind me and vying for game reps.
Yeah, and it's going to be exciting to know who's going to step up as the leader, on both sides of the ball too, in that core, especially on the defensive side. It's going to be really interesting. Who's going to step up in that leadership role.
Let me catch a couple more super chats here. Michael Davis for 10. LOL. I usually don't want to hear any more about it when we lose. I'd much rather hear y'all talk about a win than a loss. Weird that more tune in when we lose.
It is weird.
World we
live in. It's weird to me
man.
too.
It's weird.
People love negativity. They do. They love it. I would much rather. I said it all week long. Last year, the most fun I've ever had on YouTube. The worst year was the Jeremy Pruitt stuff, man. Like you think I want to get on here after a Georgia State loss and talk about Tennessee football? It was awful. And I think this week made it worse because it was the first time ever that this was my full-time job. So I was on here Saturday for the post-game show. I was on here Sunday night for the fan call-in show. I was doing videos on Monday morning show, NCAA night, Wednesday with BBD and Sports Talk J, Wednesday night, Friday. It's like, God, I'm sick and tired of talking about how this team is concerning me right now. It sucks. I would much rather celebrate the wins, man. It's way more fun than getting on here and talking after a loss. Lee Minnick for 5. Quit letting people bother you, Boogie. For a guy with thick skin, you always talk about these negas. Go Vols. Love your show. Who did I say bothered me?
I don't know.
It's funny because this ain't a Walmart, sir. You don't get to come in and tell me this, that, or the other. I can respond, right? I'm a human. I'm no different than you guys, man. If somebody comes at you aggressively and says something, I'm going to respond. That's who I am. It's in my DNA. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to I really don't know what that was what that was about. I'm always going to defend myself, right? Like the Billy Ratliff thing. Somebody said he's a VFL. You're taking it personal. No kidding, I'm taking it personal. He's responding to my comments. What would you do if Billy Ratliff was responding directly to what you said? Your exact comments. Of course I took it personal. Come on, are you kidding me? I'm a human. I think my emotions, my response, like somebody said this week, like, Boogie, don't worry, I love the emotion. And they brought up the Kentucky game when me and Dauber are yelling at each other and he punches his computer and he slams the camera off. They're like, I love you guys because you are emotional. You're just like me.
That's the thing. These post games, man, they're live, they're raw. It's right
hard.
after the game.
It's hard.
You know, you're when you sit down and rewatch the game, you do kind of clean up your thoughts. You know, it's one thing, you know, trying to watch the game and track it and take notes and then come on here right after and talk about it. And I mean, there's been things that I've said in a post game that going back, if I would have said it on a Sunday or a Wednesday after,
you're like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
You know, you know, it's that first take. It's that you know, raw, and I think that's what I love about coming on here and doing these is we get to talk it out. We get to, you know, listen to the chat and kind of get everybody's opinion and thoughts, because that at the end of the day, everybody that's watching right now, the four of us, we all want to see Tennessee succeed. We want to see those wins. We want to see, and I said it the other day, the four of us, we could care less who's playing at quarterback. Be it Joe, Nico, Gaston Moore, Navy Schuler. They pull somebody out of the stands. We want Tennessee to be good, and it's fun to watch. So
I got to respond to this. The Edge dude, he says, "Okay, what's an RLD?"
And we got a lot of dudes, man. I mean, a lot of RLDs, real live dudes that are flying around, and we should wreck shop.
I thought about
that's when RL.
I can't. It was maybe a Wednesday show. I was like, because I love Eckler, although we can question special teams.
Yeah.
I've got so many quotes from him. I'm like, I could do every quote on the intro to just Eckler comments. I love it. Let's see. Parker Townsend, Thomas gave up that touchdown. Is he talking about Jordan Thomas? You know, it's going to happen.
I believe so.
Right. It's going to happen when you play young guys, and that's okay. You learn from it. You get in the film room. You grow from it. That's why you
they
want to
had
get
that
those young
illegal
guys
pick.
in.
They had that illegal pick. That should have been called a pick.
Yeah, I didn't like that call.
I mean, they had already
Twitter
marched down there. Yeah. Oh, you know, another interesting call that I want to bring up before I forget. Dang it, this team has shown they can fix things because they fixed the shovel pass.
That was beautiful.
Yes, that was beautiful.
So it can be done. They can do it, guys. Right?
I'd rather see these young guys coming in a game like this, you know, that you're doing what you should do and beating a team like you should, and get those live game reps, get those where you can make a mistake, because you're one play away from, you know, them being, you know, second up. You know, they're a couple snaps away from being in the game. So they see game speed. You know, I think the talent that we're getting, the depth that we're getting, is a good thing. We're in a position that we've not been in a long time. And that's, you asked earlier about, you know, what do you think about these young guys? And I said I'm excited. I'm excited for that. Excited to see them get in there, because it's encouraging to see them responding to that moment.
Yeah, and as far as like going back to what you said, Darb, with mistakes and everything, since, I mean, we'll go ahead and just bring this up, but special teams, like I said, on the block punt, and then, like I said, we try to recover the ball, and it ended up back in UTSA's hands. I'm sorry, me personally, if that was South Carolina, Georgia, anybody, you're just giving that team a second opportunity to march down the field and to score. So I don't know what's going on with special teams right now, but they got to clean that up quick, fast, in a hurry.
Nothing will drive a coach more crazy. We saw what it did to Nick Saban on the sideline last year when we played him. And I'm sure Heupel wanted to pull his hair out the same when old 2-3. That's Selden, right? Cam Selden's the one that did that.
I think so. I wasn't.
Yeah.
A freshman. Yeah, certainly a freshman play. And I'm sure when it comes time to watch that with the team and in the individual film room reviews. I'm sure the special team coach will have some spirited words for the freshmen.
Yeah, I mean, just let it
and
roll,
some
man.
questions like,
Yeah,
have you ever
just
seen a
let it
football game
roll.
before?
Yeah, let it roll. And just like saying, somebody spots the ball, just let it roll, man. Just let it roll.
Yeah, get away from it. Yeah, no, that's it. It just, man, you wanted to see him clean up all that little stuff this game, and we got some of the way there, but not all the way there, right? And once again, I know it's early to start talking about next week already, but I already know what I want to see next week. I want to see a full game of football out of the University of Tennessee, a full, tough, hard-nosed game of football where you don't play soft, you stay in rhythm and give it all. And dang it, wouldn't be a great game for it to happen in a revenge game at night, Neyland Stadium with old Coach Jay and Dauber screaming at the field.
Yeah.
It'll be Wednesday, hopefully, that your voices have returned.
Yeah,
man, the old days. I'm trying to think. Dauber, were you on the show when we used to record and not go live?
No. I started when we started doing video.
Okay, so back in the day when we would record, we would always record on a Sunday, and we would post the video. I can't remember if we posted on Sunday, Monday. I forget when the post games came out, but it's like, so we all went to the games, and it would be like, can't record tonight, man. I can't even talk. You can't hear my voice. So I hope you guys are dialed in, ready to go by midweek. Let's see. Give me the great for $10. Although second half wasn't great, it was nice to see this team be able to dominate an opponent, something we haven't really seen this season up to this point. I'm glad they responded after the 2 drives that were a drought. That's what I like. I get it. You want a perfect full game, but you didn't get it. At least they responded. I was like, this game's going to end up being close. It wasn't close. They pulled away at the end. Josh Pickett for $10 says, let's talk about Tim Banks. Stay or go, in my opinion. Defense is sad, really predictable. We talked about this earlier. I don't think Tim Banks is going anywhere this year. I think we all agree, too, though he's better when they play aggressive. Like we were saying this last year, man. Come out, be aggressive. That is what this defense should be.
I think the difference, though, last year they had to play aggressively. I think you are getting better play from the front line. Your linebacker
trying to just
play.
Bring 4.
Yeah. You had to do that because when he didn't dial stuff up was when we were getting beat. We're still the back end is a little suspect at times, and I'd like to see that get better. But man, we're getting home to the quarterback. We're getting pressure to the quarterback, disrupting plays without having the blitz. But when they dial up the blitz, good things happen too.
More difficult.
Yeah. Now, like I said, Martinez, his job is questionable. I think he's the one that's going to go.
Yeah, he very well could be.
We've not even talked about Tyler Barron. I was looking at sacks.
He was unblockable at times.
Like Tennessee had 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. Every time Tyler Barron slides inside, I'm like, yep, this is Coach Jay's licking his chops. He is so good on the inside. And they weren't just doing it on third down. They did it a lot on second down, too. When he slides inside, they cannot deal with him. They cannot deal with him.
He reminds me of Byron Young.
I love it, too.
Byron Young.
Because that's the thing. We're like, can Roman Harrison, can Tyler Barron, can they be BY, right? Can they have that type of season? I think Tyler Barron's having it. I don't know if let me see if they have defensive stats on this website. It's probably not updated yet. Barron's already got 3 sacks, and I don't think that's included tonight, so probably 4 sacks on the season. I think he's having that type of year, man. Let's put another guy to the league, and then you continue to recruit, right? We've already seen the success that Rodney's having recruiting on the defensive line. Christopher 2 says, Sunshine and I are driving home from the game. Safe travels. Appreciate the super chat. Good to see you guys hanging out on the way back home. Jared Cash for $10. Want to know who y'all think is the true leader for the offense and defense. Feel like Joe is not the leader, and I'm not sure who the leader is on defense. That's a good question. I don't know if there is a leader on offense or defense. I would say Brew McCoy, based on his response to last week's game. Defensively, Aaron Beasley should be that dude, but when you're saying we're not playing discipline, I jumped his butt last week. Well, why don't you get in somebody's face and tell them to be disciplined?
Pulling out Wilson. Hold your group accountable.
That's a senior linebacker that said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Big O's a leader, but I think he's more of the
Soft-spoken.
quiet lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I
he's going to
feel
lead with his play on the field.
I feel like Tyler Barron, like I said, the kind of game he had today, man, he should be a leader too.
But is that
Yeah, but
like,
no one
is
was on the
anybody
back end
vocal?
too, and you need that back end quarterback too. And we
Jalen
really
McCullough?
don't have that.
Jalen McCullough,
Yeah.
veteran leader, is he? He's trying to
Yeah.
figure out where to be.
You,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
you're,
didn't say
you're
that.
wanting somebody to step up and be like a Jawan Jennings. Play on the field speaks, and then you're just you got that fight in you. You're gonna get up. You're gonna get in a defensive back's face and do a chomp. He wasn't afraid to get a 15-yard penalty to fire up his boys.
Or stomp on a Vanderbilt player's face either. Just fire up
I
the
know.
boys.
Whatever works.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes.
I mean, it's those type. We do seem to be lacking that, but we don't know what's going on in the locker room. We don't know what's going on in the team huddle. They may be holding each other accountable. It may just not be caught by the TV cameras or in view for all of us to see. 4-1 moving forward, things to work on. You do want to kind of see somebody step up though, both sides of the ball.
But are you going to see that this far into the season?
I mean,
you're 4 games in. We're
like we
a
said,
third
like
of the
we
way
said
through this
earlier.
thing.
You can still have a wide receiver step up and just go off the rails and light up the middle back half of the season. You can. It can happen. You can have somebody just come up and dominate and step up and be that leader, or they can shriek and duck into their little turtle shells and just kind of we'll go 6-3 or whatever X said earlier.
I don't know how many games X is playing. Scotty Hurley for 10, encouraging effort and play variety to start the game, put new things on film that will open up the offense. Lots of mistakes across the board still, but glad we got to sip the fire tonight. Go Vols.
Yep.
Appreciate that super chat, Scotty. Robbie S for 10, good game, some things to work on, but a big step in the right direction. Agree with that as well. Thank you, Robbie S. Crystal for another 5. Sunshine says, how about them releasing the cage cheetah? He's driving us home from the game, so I'm chatting for him. Let's talk about this running back room. That's a good super chat there to kind of pause and talk. Because, again, I think we got a 3-headed monster, right? I think we've got a group of running backs, and the coaching staff has talked about it. We're going to go with the hot hand. We're going to go with whoever. Kind of weird. Dylan Sampson doesn't get a single carry a week ago. But, again, when Seth brought it up, that's why I tagged Seth in that tweet when I was like, the cheetah's been released. Because he was saying Dylan Sampson's the best running back on this team. Well, he's not shown it based on yards per carry. He got a bunch of touchdowns. And I know people get excited.
Clean up.
Yeah,
Clean
it's
up.
like, oh, my gosh, why am I having a brain fart? Oh, my gosh, Kaner has a nickname for him, the Vulture. He calls him the Vulture because he cleans up. He cleans up because Jalen Wright, he's the workhorse, gets you down the field. The Vulture comes in and eats. He cleans up. But tonight, 11 carries, 139 yards, 12.6 per carry. Jabari Small also averaged 6.8 per carry. Of course, Jalen Wright's banged up. Hopefully he's healthy because I think he's the best running back on the team regardless. But X, the cheetah was released. What do you think about this running back room and how any guy can step up any week? And that's a good problem to have.
Well, like Seth said, he said it's Cerberus. I mean, yeah, you got a 3-headed monster in that running back room. But, yeah, because I was just kind of on Twitter and everybody was saying they think that Dylan Sampson, should be at running back 1.
Wrong. That is not right. That is such bullcrap. Does anybody agree with that? No. Hold your thought, X. Does anybody think Dylan Sampson's better than Jalen Wright right now? Please, come on.
I'm waiting on him to do it against a quality opponent.
Against the Gators.
I think he's better in Small.
Yeah, exactly. No,
I think him and Small are interchangeable right now.
Small's pass protection was that not what got Milton hurt tonight?
I couldn't tell you, but I'm glad you
think
circled it in your notes.
Yeah, I don't know. But, no, like I said, no, I'm right there with you guys, too. No, I believe he shouldn't be running back 1 because, like I said, I said at the beginning of the season, I said you got Jalen Wright and Jabari Smalls as your 1-2 punch. That's definitely your 1-2 punch. Now, Dylan Sampson, like I said, he's good, but the stats show otherwise. But now tonight, he played sensational, especially, like I said, he was very crafty out there, loved all the moves he was making. I mean, the kid definitely has skills, but as far as him being running back 1, I don't know. Like Dauber said, you got to prove to me that you can go out there and be that dog every single night, especially against South Carolina that's getting ready to come up, and Alabama and Georgia and all those other SEC teams.
Lee says we're splitting hairs. Yeah, we are, but that's what's fun. The beautiful thing is we got a great running back room. I love all three guys. That's the beauty of it. You know, what do you think, Coach? You take Sampson over Small, but you think Wright's the best running back?
I agree with that, and we'll see. Wright went out hurt, right? So we'll see what kind of Wright
upper
got
body
hurt,
injury.
right? Yeah. We'll see.
Right,
We'll
Coach,
see how
right.
he's doing. Yeah. Correct. Check. Yeah. Start saying check. Gets confusing, but man, that move Sampson put on that kid. I mean, he absolutely broke his ankles. I don't know if anyone else caught it, but he was laughing about that when the team came up. They were laughing too. He laughed all the way to the sideline, and it was good. It was it was one of the few times I'd seen this team start to have fun again on offense too, in that little moment. And so there were these moments, whether it just be the first half as a whole or that little moment that right there. Like if I'm the coaching staff, that's what I'm honing in on. I need to grow that part of this team, and I need to grow it in a hurry in practice. I need them to start. It was a note that I had for Joe in the first half. It looked like he just said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to let it rip. I'm going to go out there and have fun and let the chips fall where they may and play fast and make my reads and trust that they're good reads and go. And then, when he got hurt, it sounded like he started guessing himself again.
Well, he played loose up until he got hurt, and then it looked like he was trying to play cerebral. And I think he's the type of dude. It's got to flow. It's that athletic ability, that arm strength, and it's the rhythm. You get out of that rhythm, you start thinking too much, and we see that second half, Joe.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see with the running back room if Wright can't go. Do we just see Small and Sampson? Because I'm willing to think Cam Selden might be in the doghouse for a little bit after that decision he made today. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
think
see.
you do.
Yeah, I think you only see the two of them. So,
is it fair to say that Jabari Small and Jalen Wright are better at the line of scrimmage, reading the blocks, being patient? Versus Dylan Sampson is insane in the open field. I think that's where Dylan Sampson really shines. Shines in the open field. Chase Simmons for another 5 says ready to see Rattler on his back all game next weekend. Can't stand South Carolina after last year. I know, man. It's a big one. I hope this team is ready to go. I don't think they need a pep talk. I already said tailgate show what my pep talk would be. I would just write the score on the old whiteboard and let them stare at it, and then they can figure out what they need to do. Any other talking points? We talked a little bit about penalties. How Tennessee 10 penalties the last 2 games. Tonight, what they have? I think they had 5, and one of those was weak. One of those, they had 5 penalties for 40 yards. One of those, was it Jeremiah Thielander that got flagged? And it was at the whistle. It was a weak call. I thought they played more disciplined. But do they struggle? Is the part of the problem, X, on the road and the noise, the offensive penalties on the offensive line, pre-snap penalties kind of disappear when we're in Neyland Stadium?
I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about, just communication. I mean, I think that plays a little bit a part of it because, and we all know, like I said, we all know it's tough to play on the road in the SEC. And then, of course, once you get that crowd involved, I mean, home field advantage plays a major. Most people don't think it does, but the home crowd plays a little bit like anywhere, in any sport. So, but I think, like I said, when the crowd gets loud, I think it's just communication on Tennessee's part. Because, we were having communication problems during, like I said, spring camp. And then now here we are in start of the season, and you're going into live hostile environments. You gotta find some way to silence that crowd quick, fast, in a hurry. And then you just got to stick with the game plan. So. Yeah,
absolutely. It's going to be an interesting game next week. Look, who knows?
We'll find out who we are.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen in that South Carolina-Mississippi State game tonight. But, that quarterback, it's like a pitcher, right? Sometimes he's just got a certain team's number, and he's going to feel like he's got our number, whether he does or what he doesn't. So if we want to knock him off that game, I think we got to play aggressive. I think we got to go get him, but we have to be disciplined in the back end, because if we're going to play aggressive, we can't let that guy get past us. There were times tonight on both those touchdown drives with their team that we were getting a decent penetration, but they were kind of using the penetration against us where we were getting it. Some with some like wide receiver mid zone screens, and some with just hitting the straight sideline on the bubble screen, but not necessarily picking on a blitzing man because we were sitting back, but just blitzing on or just picking on the formation that we were in while we were sitting back was more of the issue that we were having there. We'll see. We'll see if South Carolina is.
One of these days,
we'll
Dauber's going to figure out his mute button.
Yeah.
Did I not mute that?
No, dude, stop using the mic and use StreamYard. There's a big button right in front of you can hit. What are we doing?
But yeah, no, we'll find out if South Carolina can bring something, if they're coming, or if they're going to lay a dud, or if it's going to be a great game. Maybe let us know in the comments what kind of game you think we'll get out of both teams coming up.
I thought you would take that. Are we coming and use it as a way to take a shot at Dion today?
Boogie, I wanted you to think I was going to do that, but I thought I'd let up because I felt bad for all the Colorado.
As much as me and Eggs have talked trash to you about Dion, it's well deserved.
I knew it was coming. They don't have the dang front seven yet. If I had that gate, I had two
I didn't even watch
that one on the second. They could not block Oregon to save their soul.
Did you hear what Oregon's head coach said?
The Cinderella story's over or something like that. Do yourself a favor, go watch his pregame speech, X. Yeah, because I wanted
Lanning's
to go play.
pregame speech?
Dude, yeah, I wanted to grab my pads.
He said this. No, he said, look,
good.
They play for clicks, we play for wins.
That too, yeah.
I was like,
Alex he's already turned on Dion. It took one game. He's out. He's out.
No, I'm not out. No. But I was just like, no. I even said it in the fan call, and I said, okay, you got to prove to me you can beat Oregon. If you really are that team, you got to go out there and show it to me.
You didn't have to prove that to me.
Yeah.
Hey, X, he's no Butch Jones, is he?
No, Dion's going to go 6-3, Dauber.
Yeah.
Hey, we got about 500 people watching. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for this post-game show. Tons of content coming your way this week. I'll be dropping a video in the morning. It'll be the day after video. I'll go to sleep, put some thoughts together, get up bright and early tomorrow and drop a video talking about this football game. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's the fan call-in show. That's where all of you that are members of this channel get to come on here and express your opinions on air like we are doing right now. Not in super chats, not in comments. You get to come on the show and interact and go back and forth. To do that, you got to be a member of the channel. Make sure you hit that join button down below. We usually start at Talkin VAWLS Elite. That's $10 a month and higher, but we go down the list. If they don't jump on, we'll go down to Talkin VAWLS Gold, Talkin VAWLS Faithful. But if you've got $1 in your pocket, you're like, man, these dudes are fun. I like this show. I like the content, the videos, the live streams, the community aspect. I love nothing more than the fact that there was 40 people in the chat throughout the entire game talking about this game. I love that you guys do that. You want to be a part of it, hit the join button down below. We would appreciate it. Also, go check out the merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/talkinballs. The link's in the description. I'm rocking the new VAWLS shirt. Danny White brought back the letters, so we thought we would bring back the merch. So go check that out. Also, we're not a family here. We are a cult. Put your hand up to the monitor. Sip your Kool-Aid and repeat after me. I'm going to order the Big Orange Colt shirt as soon as Boogie wraps this stream. Go check it out. Fuga, all the greats, Gator Hater. We got a clean TriStar shirt. Buck Fama. Who doesn't want a Buck Fama shirt? Go check it out again. And look, all of a sudden, people are starting to disagree with me and Dauber. They don't want to vote for me and Dauber, but I'm still not bringing a JP X Factor shirt. It's not happening.
Yeah, you got to do it, bro.
Nope, there's only one vote. The only vote is Boogie and Dauber in 2024. But all the old faithfuls are there. Appreciate the support. Go check it out. Again, the link is in the description below. But if you don't want to buy a shirt, you can't afford to join or give, that's fine. Always come hang out and talk some Tennessee football with us. We appreciate it. Philip Scow for 5. Dauber is spot on with Joe needing the flow of the game. He really needs Cooper back. That's when this offense will take off and shine. I don't disagree. Joe just needs to be Joe. I think I think sometimes he lacks confidence. And, maybe that comes from getting benched at Michigan, getting benched earlier in his career at Tennessee. I don't know. I think he just needs to trust in who he is and go out and play backyard football. Scotty Hurley for 5. Wright is special. We are spoiled to have 3 solid backs, which are as good as we've had over the last decade, but Wright can be on another level. That's spot on. Like, I like to say my opinion. If somebody thinks Dylan Sampson's better, I'm like, I see it. I see what he brings to the table. Parker Townsend for 2. If we get an O-line, the Nico Samp duo will be fire. Jeff Puckett for 10. Not knocking Joe, but people talking about after injury when he actually was 0 for 3 or 4 right before the injury, including just overthrowing a wide-open Squirrel White in the end zone. It's just inconsistency, right? Inconsistency. That's the question on Joe. Can he be consistent? I think history tells us no. Orange Sea Line for 5. Went to the game. At times I felt like we were playing old piss with all those cramps from a team that plays in the Texas heat. 100%. That's going to be every team that we play. Shannon DeCannon for 10. I whined and moaned after the Florida game, but I think we're going to be okay. I don't know if it's 10-plus wins now, but 8-plus for sure. How about them Ducks? Go Big Orange. As we tie a bow on this live stream, let's go around the room. Dauber, what would you be satisfied with this point? We're 4 games into the season. Let's say Tennessee goes out and they finish the year 8-4, and they manage to hold on to this recruiting class. You okay with that? And we're going to move on to 2024. We're going to get Nico at starting quarterback, and hopefully we can land some offensive linemen in the portal. Can you live with 8-4? Or are you going to be upset?
I can live with it. Like I said, going into the season, I thought 8-4 was the floor. It's highly possible that you could catch a chunk of a couple bad games in a row and end up right there, or maybe even a game worse. But I think as long as you're competitive in all of those games, you do hold on to the recruiting class that you've put together. Maybe steal 1 or 2 more guys. Like I said earlier, it's exciting to see the young guys they have on campus right now, and how they're contributing when they get their chance to get in there. Listen, we were spoiled, growing up, Boogie. A 9-10 win season was common. I think the casual fan got spoiled to this quick turnaround. They got spoiled by an 11-win season last year. I don't think, Josh Heupel has everything figured out and everything, is all, I'll take my orange glasses off and it's all perfect, because there are questions. There are, spots where we could be better, but things are moving in the right direction. There is momentum. It is finding that consistency, not just throughout the rest of the season, but consistency from one series to the next, from one snap to the next. You want all 11 guys playing at that level every play. You can't have 3 guys taking a play off, because that's when your left side of the line gets your quarterback killed, or something like that, or you have a wide receiver drop a ball that hits him right in the numbers. It's just I want to see that continued growth.
X?
Yeah, 8-4, like I said, is pretty solid. I mean, just because of the fact that, and we all talked about it, before the season started, this is just a weird year, especially after, the humongous year that we had last season. It's like, how do you go from being 11-2 to whatever we're going to be this season? So, yeah, I think I'll be fine with 8-4 if that is to happen. I still believe, at least 9-3, I still believe that. But Yeah, just because of the fact that it's a weird year, and like I said, if you can just get through it, get a good bowl game at the end of this season, and just get ready for Nico. Because as we all know, we've been talking about it for this week and last week. Everybody's waiting for the golden child to come in and lead us to the promised land. So, but yeah, I'd be totally fine with just 8-4 if that was to happen. But I'm still gonna go with possibly just us going 9-3.
It's funny because I said we're going to find out on Saturday, and somebody in the chat, I think it was Seth, said we found out last week against Florida. We found out who we were. Now we're trying to scratch and claw to 8-4. Maybe, but are you defined by the Florida game, or do you grow from the Florida game? That's why I made a video this week. Do you bounce back, or do you quit? And based on tonight's game, I don't think this team quit. I think they bounced back. They responded. They went through some adversity in the middle eight, and then they bounced back from that, and they won 45-14. Like, I can't do math. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they covered, right? Did they cover?
Mm-hmm.
They covered.
You saw them correct some things from last week. They cleaned up a little bit. I mean, there's still some questions that are yet to be answered. And we talked about you need to have somebody step up. You need to have leaders emerge on both sides of the ball. And that'll be a big thing right there. You start holding people accountable and you play to the potential and what we've seen glimpses of. And that's how this team goes from, a middle of the road 9-win season to maybe reaching that double-digit win. Could they do it? Hell yeah, they can do it. Hell yeah. I don't have a doubt in my mind that this team could put together a run and figure stuff out and have, people emerge on both sides of the ball. They just got to clean some stuff up. They've got all the talent in the world to go out there and play with anybody. Nobody looks unbeatable this year. I think I've seen what I've seen out of Alabama. We can beat them.
Looks sus. Very sus.
I think Georgia's even questionable, and they're at the end of the season. So you figure out some things right now, and yeah, it is. You could have another good season, and you stack together 2 good seasons. What's that do for recruiting?
Scotty Hurley for 5 says, still believe this team's ceiling can be high, but we've only got our toes wet. The UF loss has to drive the hunger and got to see continued growth. I agree 100%, Scotty, and that's why, South Carolina. Now, look, look, we can go back to last year. Every week was the biggest week of the year, right? It's always next week. You go out and you beat South Carolina, and you show, you look good. You go out and look good against South Carolina, then guess what? Texas A&M. Let's go beat Texas. You take it 1 week at a time. And
go 1-0 in the week, baby.
Yes, go 1-0 every week, and you look at the expectations. Georgia and Alabama are going to be the only 2 games the rest of the way that you're predicted to beat. Vegas is only going to favor Alabama and Georgia. That's it. Tennessee's going to be favored in every other game. So you work on you. You go beat Tennessee. You go take care of business. There ain't no reason why this team can't go 9-3. Dare I say 10-2. Dare I say 11-1. People get pissed. It's like Dobber said. Go be damn great, man. Go be damn great. Coach, what do you think? What do you think? What's important? How does this team finish out the rest of the year?
As far as the question of would I be okay with 8-4, I mean, I'd be okay with it. I don't think we'd be necessarily happy with it, or
it'd be a long off season.
It wouldn't break any of our hearts either. Listen, we've been so dang far ahead of schedule.
Yes.
The last 2 years, we all kind of knew that you were in somewhat of a recession year from the beginning. But with that said, if this team can find that identity and find that consistency and start putting 2 halves of football together and reach in themselves and find leaders and find answers, they have the ability. To me, it's not an ability thing. It's a mind thing, and then B, just toughening up a little. I think they've been soft at times and undisciplined at times, so they got to find that inner strength and accountability, and it's shown up in spurts, but they have to find that consistency. They have to dig deep and get it done. Listen, it's not how you start the season, it's how you end the season. did we find out something in Florida? Yeah, we found out something in Florida.
Found out a lot of things.
Yeah, but you got to scrape your butt off the canvas, and you got to go throw some more dang punches, right? What are you going to do?
I didn't hear no bell.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Scrape your sorry butt off the canvas. Go out there and start throwing some punches back and show some mental fortitude. And that's what I want to see out of this team. I think we can do it. And South Carolina is just a perfect opportunity to get something going. We won one game. We can go out there, win another game. That's 2 games. Go out there and A&M and win 3. That's called a winning streak, ladies and gentlemen, right? So we can do it, man. They just need to ride or die for each other. So
it's not how hard you hit. It's about how much you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Talking about Balboa coming your way next week.
Yeah. So we need to dig deep, and we need to play disciplined, smart, good, tough football. I think we can do it. We just got to put 2 halves together, man. It seems simple and it seems like coach speak, but it's what needs done. And dang it, I'd love to see it, like I said, live next week, and hopefully that's what we get, because I think this team's got a lot of talent. I think we just need to have that confidence in ourselves.
Look, we're going to do all the homework. We're going to do the rewatches. We're going to do our research. We're going to bring you tons of content this week, starting with the day after video coming bright and early tomorrow. Kaner will be in the house Monday morning. Fan call-in show Sunday night. You guys know the schedule by now. There's content coming your way every single day of the week. Appreciate you guys. We could not do this without you. You guys are what make this channel work. You make it you make it go. You are the heartbeat of the channel, so we are grateful for every single person that tunes in to listen to us. So make sure you tune in, dial in, get ready for all the content coming your way. For Dauber, for the X Factor, for Coach Jay, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange. I had to take everybody off the screen because this is multiple times. You guys keep doing this to me. You guys keep doing it to me. And it was like a couple of weeks ago, poor Coach Jay's like picking his nose. And I turned the thing back on and he's like, holy smokes, we're still live? We're still live? We're still live? He's like, what's going on? So I have to give him a chance to realize I'm never going to go off there. Although I did it to Seth. I love you, Seth, but I did it to him in the tailgate show because Tennessee was about to kick off. You guys throwing super chats as we go out the door. Jeff Puckett for 5. Got to fix those flat spells on both sides of the ball that lead to 1/4 or half long lulls. Do that. It can be good. If not, it will be rough. Wayne dropping a 20 spot as the outro's playing. Wayne, love you, brother. Appreciate the support. Wayne's here every time the lights come on. You're the man, Wayne. I look forward to getting your butt on here for a fan call-in show. You always make excuses. We got to get you on a fan call-in show. Thank you, guys. Love you guys. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
That we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.